Welcome to the speaking portion of the IELT exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner for this part of the test. May I see your identification, please? Thank you. And what is your full name?
My last name is Mary. My first name is Leo. Can refer to me as Leo.
Okay, Leo, the exam has 3 parts. I will give you instructions for each. I'm going to record this for making purpose. For part 1, I will ask you a couple of questions to get to know you better and some questions on a general topic. Okay, here is your identification bag. Who do you live with?
I live with my boyfriend. 1-bedroom apartment, downtown, Image.
Where do you go to relax?
So when I want to relax, I go to the gym and exercise for an hour. I know it does not sound too relaxing, but it is for me.
Let's talk about teachers. Who was your favorite teacher?
I would say my favorite teacher was my gym class instructor. In grade 12, that was Mr. Cars. He has a very positive attitude, and here he inspired me to be active.
Where do you learn from a teacher?
Thank honestly in the classroom, but today it can also be virtual learning or physical learning. For example, I take YouTube classes or yoga classes on YouTube.
What is important to be a good teacher?
I would say that's one of the most important characteristics of a good teacher is patience, because it's very easy to lose your patience with students and to give up in instruction.
Have you ever taught anyone?
Oh yeah, I have been working part-time as a German instructor. I'm very passionate about language and helping other people. And so this is some activities that I have done most of my adult life.
If you could teach any subject, what would it be?
That will be public speaking classes. As I said, I'm very passionate about helping other people to communicate, and I think that communication today is really the key to success.
That's it, the end of part 1. Now for part 2, I'm going to give you a card here. This, please don't turn that over yet. And here is some note paper and a pencil. You will have 1 minute to look at the question and on the cards, think about your answer. You may take notes in the 1 minute if you wish. And then you will have 2 minutes to speak. I will tell you when you stop. Are you ready to begin? That is the end of the 1 minute, Leo. Please begin speaking, okay? So, a B. The most important body of water for the German economy. This is the North Sea.
It connects Germany with other major European countries like Norway, France, Britain, and it spans roughly 500 kilometers in length and 120 kilometers across. And I would say it has dark blue water, and it usually quite light. What I mean by that is that there are often storms and the waves are quite large. So that is one of the places where the first try to generate energy from wave power. When in ancient time it was used for explorations for militaries and for taste. So many German sailors they set sail through the seas to discover the world, and not only Europeans, they also went to Africa, to Asia, to America, and they brought with them furs and steels to taste them again. Other goods like gold and silver and then in modern times, is not see is still used for many of the same purpose as in. As in ancient times, so is exists an entire pause for lots of tourists that come to Germany, but also for Germans that go to other places by the way of cruise ships that large cargo of cars. For example, enter the German market do not see light cars from the US or from Japan. And on the other hand, for example, car like Mercedes access the German market where do not see as well.
Okay, your time is up, Leo. I'm going to stop you there. And please give back a pencil, the card, and then paper. Thank you. And now we will continue with part 3. For part 3, I will ask you some more questions related to the topic of part 2. Let's talk about trade and commerce. Right? Why is it important for countries to trade goods and services with each other?
Well, I think the most important argument is that not all the countries is able to provide all the necessities and produce all the necessities that citizens consume by itself. So the country there is wanted to short of to supply this demand.
Can you give some examples?
Yeah, of course. Like I would say, Germans import bananas, for example, from Honduras, and on the other hand, we export steel to the nations that need it.
What are the advantages and disadvantages of importing products from other countries that are also available locally?
I think one of the major disadvantages is that it is very bad for them, for the inner economy. So it's a loss of business because labor in some countries of the world is so cheap that Germans that cannot compete with that. So on the other hand, and one advantage.
If trading among nations were to suddenly stop, how would this affect people's lives?
As I said, that some of the countries can supply the demands by themselves. So if international commerce ceases, then these products would become unavailable.
Is this good or bad?
Well, that will be bad because, for example, I like to become fruits and we don't have banana anymore.
Let's talk about product and service delivery. What are the most common ways that products and services are delivered to customers?
I think to individuals is most common to deliver by a carrier like the post or DHL, and for retailers it can be like boats, planes or trains to get the products to the final destination.
Which is the best and why?
I think usually the best is the cheapest, the fastest and most eco-friendly. So if you would ask me, I would say that trains are quite good.
How will product and service delivery systems change in the future?
I think that delivery must become commonplace recently. I'm seeing a documentary on TV where they has does delivery pizza to the customer.
How long will this take?
Well, we already have the drone, so I don't think it will take too long, maybe a half hour, because also.
Why are multinational corporations always looking for different ways to deliver products?
As I said, the best way is usually the cheapest, fastest, and most environmentally friendly. So I think these points, motivators, and I think
That is the end of part 3 that conclude the speaking section of the exam. You will have your mark in about 2 weeks' time with the other parts of the test. Please make sure to remember to take your ID with you and have a great rest of your day, Leo. Thank you very much.
welcome to the speaking portion of the IELTS exam. My name is Andrew. I will be your examiner for the parts of the test. May I see your identification, please? Thank you. What is your full name?
My last name is Mayer. My first name is Leon. You can refer to me as Leo.
Okay, Leo, the exam has been passed. I will give you instructions for each. I'm going to record it for making purpose for part 1. I will ask you a couple of questions to get to know you better, and some questions on a general topic. Okay? Here's your identification bag. Who do you live with?
I live with my boyfriend, 1-bedroom apartment downtown Eastness.
Where do you go to relax?
So, when I want to relax, I go to the gym and exercise for an hour. I know it does not sound too relaxing, but it is for me.
Let's talk about teachers. Who was your favorite teacher?
I would say my favorite teacher was my gym class instructor. In Quick 12, that was Mr. Claus. He had a very positive attitude, and he inspired me to be athletic.
Where do you learn from a teacher?
Thanks, honestly, in the classroom, but today it can also be virtual learning or physical learning. For example, I take YouTube classes or yoga classes on YouTube.
What is important to be a good teacher?
I would say that one of the most important characteristics of a good teacher is patience, because it's very easy to lose your patience with students and to give up an instruction.
Have you ever taught anyone?
Oh yeah, I have been working part-time as a German instructor. I am very passionate about language and helping other people, and so this is some activity that I have done most of my adult life.
If you could teach any subject, what would it be?
That will be public speaking classes. As I said, I'm very passionate about helping other people to communicate, and I think that communication today is really the key to success.
That is the end of part 1. Now for part 2, I'm going to give you a card. Here, this piece don't turn. That's over it, and here is some note paper. And here is a pencil. You will have 1 minute to look at the questions on the card. Think about your answer. You may take notes in the 1 minute if you wish. And then you will have 2 minutes to speak. I will tell you when to start, when to stop. Are you ready to begin? That is the end of the 1 minute. Leo, please begin speaking, okay? So, I will be the most important body of water for the German economy. This is the North Sea.
It connects Germany with other major European countries like Norway, France, Britain, and it spans roughly 500 kilometers in length and 120 kilometers across, and I would say it has dark blue water and is usually quite drought. What I mean by that is that there are often storms and the waves are quite large. So that is one of the places where they first try to generate energy from wave from the wave power. When the ancient times it was used for exploration, for military, and for trade. So many German sailors they set sail through the seas to discover the world, and not only Europe. That also went to the Africa, to Asia, to America, and they brought with them fur and steel to trade them against other goods like gold and silver. And then in modern time, the North Sea is still used for many of the same purpose as in ancient times. So it's an exit and entry port for a lot of tourists that come to Germany, but also for Germans that to go other places by the way of cruise ships. That's like cargo of car. For example, enter the German market through the North Sea, like car from the US or from Japan. And on the other hand, for example, car like Mercedes exit the German market with the North Sea as well.
Can you give some examples?
Well, I think the most important agreement is that none of the countries is able to provide all the necessities and produce all the necessities that citizens consume by itself. So the countries rely on trade to source or to supply this demand.
What are the advantages and disadvantages for importing products from other countries that are also available locally?
Yes, of course. Like I would say Germans import bananas, for example, from Honduras, and on the other hand, we export steel to the nations that need it.
If trading among nations were to suddenly stop, how would this affect people's life?
As I said, that none of the countries can supply the demand by themselves. So, if international commerce see then these products would become unavailable.
Is this good or bad?
Well, that will be bad because, for example, I like tropical fruits and we don't have banana anymore.
Let's talk about product and service delivery. What are the most common ways that products and services are delivered to customers?
I think to individuals, it's most common to deliver by a carrier, like the post or DHL, and for retailers, it can be like both planes or trains to get the products to the final destination.
Which is the best and why?
I think usually the best is the cheapest, the fastest, and most eco-friendly. So if you would ask me, I would say that trains are quite good.
How will product and service delivery systems change in the future?
I think that drone delivery might become commonplace recently. I've seen a documentary on TV where they had drone delivering pizza to the customers.
Why are multinational corporations always looking for different ways to deliver products?
As I said, the best way is usually the cheapest, fastest, and most environmentally friendly. So I think these are these key motivators, and I think
That is the end of part 3. Let's conclude the speaking sections of the exam. You will have your marks in about 2 weeks' time. With the other parts of the test, please make sure to remember to take your ID. Wish you and have a great rest of your day, Leo. Thank you very much.